Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast for the Rewind show, where we look forward to looking back at some of the last times we played this weekend's upcoming opponents. Hello, my name is Craig Fimbo. Welcome to the Blue Monday Rewind show, where we look at the last time we played our forthcoming opponents in the top division and more matches from the not-so-distant past. And finally, I think we're back to being your first instalment of the Blue Monday build-up to the weekend's match against Nottingham Forest, David Diamond.
Yeah, that always gets me, Notts Forest. What's all that about? Lazy. And looking back at these games, obviously in our most recent sojourn, which was obviously start of the new millennium, we missed them completely in the Premier League for those seasons, didn't we? So we have to go trawl all the way back, crikey, 30 years to when we last played Forest in the Premier.
Yeah, that's right. As we've spoken about before, when we've spoken about Villa, we've spoken about Everton, and previously when we spoke about Forest, another proper football club.
Oh, absolutely. And I know it's a rewind show, but I mean, what a season they're having. I mean, spoiler alert, we're recording this on the Sunday morning after the another disappointing defeat at Crystal Palace yesterday. But what a win for Forest yesterday, though. Goodness me. Yeah. So they are having one hell of a season. But
not maybe unexpected win as well, which just goes to show
incredible, isn't it?
The form they're in and how they're
we'll gloss over the cup game a week ago. We not talk about that. But
that was a draw, Dave. It wasn't a loss.
Yeah, it was a draw. Actually, quite right, Craig. Yeah, it's just they are having an absolutely fabulous season, and just an example of they threw the dice 2 seasons ago when they got promoted, threw the dice. Well, threw more than a few dice, and look where they are now. Took the whatever consequences there were. Let's not dwell on that, but. Incredible. Look what they are. What a season. And the win yesterday, they are bang on course for the Champions League.
Well, they are bang on course for Champions League, but they may not recreate their feats of 1978 where they won the league in their first attempt after promotion. That may ring some bells for some Ipswich Town fans of an elder vintage, shall we say. And obviously, by virtue of winning the league at the first attempt, they then got into the cup winner, or the European Cup, which they then won in 79, and the year after, presumably that was, Dave, by virtue of winning the previous year's competition.
Yeah, indeed it was. Yeah, indeed it was. I remember that, so we'll perhaps a little bit more about that a little bit later, but we remember that really clearly. And the only team ever to do it, so the only team, they're unique, and the only team to ever win their obviously domestic top division once, and win the European Cup. In old money, new money, Champions League twice. So they're quite unique. And you're quite right. Obviously, for the 1980, 79-80, they qualified for that by way of beating Malmo the previous season.
Super. And as Dave said, we may touch on that, or members of that team.
One particular individual manager, spoiler alert.
As ever, if you were at any of these games that we're just about to have a chat about, please stick some messages in the chat. Let us know how it went for you. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, help us out, etc.
Just going off piste again. Sorry, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me, and I saw it posted on our Telegram chat in the podcast Telegram chat yesterday. It was 50 years ago to the day yesterday that Ipswich played Leeds at Portman Road in the Cup quarter-final in front of the record ever famous 38,010 crowd. 50 years. That was that brought back some memories and just some good comments about that in the chat.
Well, the number of people that say they're there, I think the attendance was closer to 78,000, wasn't it? Rather than 30.
I was certainly there, and I saw Tim Donovan say it was like sardines, and I was certainly like that in good old Churchman's. I remember very, very clearly. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Anyway.
Now, as Dave sort of mentioned there, hold on to your hats, get your party poppers at the ready, because we are not renewing acquaintances with our old friend season 2001, 2002. Hey!
Hey!
Although we will be talking about a loss. Because Nottingham Forest were in the middle of what was a 23-year hiatus from the top division, Dave, while we were enjoying our 2 seasons there. They were relegated in 99.
That's staggering, isn't it?
Relegated in 99 and promoted in 2022 and had a handful of seasons in League One. Can you believe it?
No, they did. They did. That's incredible. Yeah, of course they were. Yeah, I think I can remember back in that 99, one of their last season, 98, 99, if it was, they got a proper spanking, like an 8-1 or 8-2 at against Man U at home against Man U. It was Man U of Solskjaer, and it might have even been the treble winning season. I might have got that season away from that, but yeah, I agree. Cool that, but no, it's mind boggling, really. Yeah, 23. Well, yeah,
very similar to ourselves. Really do mirror our own decline and rise.
Very much.
So 20th of August 1994, Saturday the 20th of August. Those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer. Sun always shines on the first day of the season, which it was this day as well. Number 1 in the charts, Dave, August 94. This was another one of these Bryan Adams, Whitney Houston, months and months and months at number 1 songs.
Wet, wet, wet.
It was wet, wet, wet. Yeah.
It's like 3. There's obviously Bryan Adams, Wet, 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 and there's another one around that time.
Whitney. Meatloaf was there for a bit, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah. It's one of those ones, isn't it? Yeah.
It kept the Sterling fellas of All for One off the top. They were at number 2 for 7 weeks, trying to get to number 1. Bless them. I swear.
Oh no, actually, that's quite a good tune. Yeah, because obviously, Wet, Wet, Wet was 4 weddings and a funeral, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was all linked with film. All these hits were soundtracks, weren't they? You know, the other one was Robin Hood, and the other one was The Bodyguard, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And this being the first match of the Premier League season, I won't put the league table up because it's alphabetical order. So you can work that one out for yourselves.
Oh, actually, however, for this particular season, that might be a good thing.
Yeah, safe mid-table position all year.
Oh, sorry. Anyway. Yeah, go on.
In terms of the cover stars, plural of the week, they were our 2 summer signings. Can you remember who we'd bought? It turned out,
at the team.
As it turned out, our top scorer for the league that season.
Oh, blimey. Was that actually Marshall? No? Yes.
Klaus Thompson.
Of course it was Klaus Thompson. Yeah, Thompson and Sedge. Of course. Yes. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I say, little did we know, we turned out to purchase our Premier League top scorer for this season.
5, wasn't it? 5 goals, wasn't it?
5 goals.
Where'd you stand on those shirts? They're quite plain and quite nice, aren't they? Do we like those? Sort of fairly plain.
Yeah, I do. But I think there may have been an issue with the colour, the hue of the blue.
Hue of the blue. It wasn't quite the royal blue, was it? Yeah, I seem to remember something like that. Yeah,
possibly. But yeah, there they were, ready to blitz us into the new season. In terms of the lineup, Dave, neither of our 2 new signings actually entered the fray in this first game of the season.
Yeah, that's what threw me a bit when I looked at the team I'd written down, I must admit. Yeah. It's a champion. It's a sort of Division 1 side. I mean, we've actually got, obviously, there are signings since we've been up there. Obviously, Marshall was a signing.
Slater.
Correct. Grant Williams as well. So actually, and Eddie Yowles as well. So actually, there's 4. I disservice there. Mason, yeah. So there is a few looking back on it. But yeah, looking at the side, it's yeah. I say it's got its limitations, that side, hasn't it, really?
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, I think we were sort of doing what we could with this. As you said, the signing. When the thing is, the Stuart Slater signing was a big thing at the time, wasn't it? We spent a fair amount of money, about 800,000, I think, from memory on him, and had high hopes, but he never really.
We did. Celtic, I think. Yeah, I think so. Again, he was. We said this before. Perhaps a little bit lightweight, maybe.
A lightweight winger in the Premier League.
Who'd have thought it?
Yeah. In terms of Forest,
Oh, here we go.
Frank Clark's Forest, pretty
Yeah.
solid. This team, their record signing Brian Roy, £2.5 million, which they signed after the World Cup. I think he scored in the World Cup, and they signed him.
I think he did
After
in the States. Yeah, I believe they signed him from Foggia, who I think we played, didn't we, in the old Anglo?
Oh yeah,
I played Foggia. I think
rings a
I think
bell.
that's where we came from. Obviously Ajax, but so you've got good old Jason Lee with his extravagant man bun up top with him, going through the team. I think that's David Phillips, who I believe played for them up the
Yeah, that's it.
up the road. Ian Wone, obviously Scott Gemmell, the great Archie's son, Steve Stone. We've spoken about him before. And and obviously been in the news this week. Stuart Pearce, hopefully get well soon. He had a bit of an issue, I think, on a flight over to the States, didn't he? Solid.
Solid. Exactly what I wrote in my notes. It was the word solid. As I said, it's just 1-0. Not a lot more to talk about, really, Dave. And it's a decent goal, though, wasn't it?
That's what you get. I guess you get what you pay for, don't you? I think I've seen the footage of this one. It's a long ball forward, and Jason Lee gets his man bun to it above Walkie, I think, and knocks it down, and then it's class, and he sort of edge of the box, he gets it out of his feet, and sort of Forrest gets a good hand to it, but yeah, he can't stop it in the top corner. Left foot goes it in the top corner, doesn't he?
Yeah. What there were loads of Forest fans in Churchman's. Do you see him celebrating when it went in? There were dozens of them.
I didn't notice that. Oh, really? Yeah. I was trying to think. Was I in Churchman's? I certainly remember I can recall certainly can recall the game. But yeah, it was obviously a 1-0 defeat wasn't a bad result that season, to be fair.
No, it was the start of things to come, shall we say. I'll put the league table after one game is there. However, yeah, that was the season, just to remind everybody. Blackburn won it. We'd finished rock bottom, and we were 18 points from safety at the end. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I said we'd briefly touch on that one, which we have done. We're going to move on to the 90s. The best decade, Dave, the 90s.
I think so.
Saturday, the 8th of May, 1993, which was the day before my 18th birthday.
There we go.
And as we said about sunny days at the beginning of the season, invariably, the sunny days at the end of the season. And this was the last match of the 1992-1993 season. As I say, it was a lovely day again. Number one in the charts, Dave, was an EP. A 5-song EP.
I've literally no idea. Go on. No idea.
It was a collaboration, a decent collaboration as well, actually. It was what you call a super group of the 70s and 80s, and a lead singer of a very, very popular 80s group himself, and a lass from Bolton, Manchester, Rochdale, that area.
I'm done. Anything? ABBA EP? No, nothing.
Live concert footage, 2 songs from a live concert commemorating the death of the lead singer of the band. Dave? Queen.
I've got. Oh, okay. Oh, that concert. Okay. Oh, was it EP? Was it not George Michael and no? What was it?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, George. What? And Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me.
No, it was George Michael. Somebody to Love. Oh. And Lisa Stansfield sang. Those Are the Days of Our Lives, or they both sang Those Are the Days of Our Lives, yeah. So there were 2. Nice they're the 2 songs that people remember, and it was actually a 5-song EP that got. There was 5 of them.
So what else was on it then?
Well, this is the thing. George Michael performed Killer, and Papa Was a Rolling Stone. They were also on the 5-song EP.
Oh, I remember him doing Killer. Yeah, Damsky. I remember him doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also a song called Calling You was the 5th of the 5.
Lisa Stansfield could sing, but I remember about Lisa Stansfield. Her apparently came into Ipswich once to do a concert, and absolutely a sort of car crash up, slagging off the crowd, slagging off Ipswich. Apparently.
Oh right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, not sure she's been back since. I don't think
hasn't been welcomed back since. No.
No, I don't think
what there is I don't know if you've seen the YouTube footage, Dave, of George Michael singing. I think it's what he's singing in the rehearsal as they're warming up for the concert itself. In the first, they've got him singing. I'm sure it's Somebody to Love, in the rehearsal studio, and basically there's like David Bowie in the background watching it.
Oh,
You think, gee whiz,
yeah,
this
okay,
bloke
yeah.
can sing. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Brilliant.
Very impressive. As I say, as opposed to the previous match we talked about being our first match of the season, as we said, this was our last match of the season, and a game which could have, with a freak set of results, seen us relegated. Because we were on 49 points and only 3 points clear of Oldham, but with a significantly better goal difference.
We've obviously covered this season before. In previous weeks that we it was a topsy turvy season, wasn't it? And we started off fairly well. I think we got a load of draws. I seem to remember had a brilliant run around Christmas, New Year, and Christmas, and then our form basically fell off a cliff. So only 1 or 2 games before that, I think we'd beaten Norwich, who were at one point in time looking like they were gonna. They were saying quietly, flipping out, might even win the title. So yeah, I think was that yes, it was 92, 93. Yeah, we beat them 3-1 at Portman Road, and then I think we were pretty as you quite rightly said, not mathematically safe, but pretty much going into this game.
Yeah. In terms of the cover star, he's a gentleman who's currently clocking up the air miles to and from Ghana.
Oh, of course, it's Milts and he's what they call it, Future Stars. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
there he is. Yeah. Good old Milts.
Oh, there's that shirt. Look at that shirt.
Yes, long sleeve as well, Dave. We've spoken about long sleeves as well, haven't we?
Look at that shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, you just picture him and Dazelle wearing that long sleeve shirt. And the match sponsor, Soccerline, 0839 66 88, which I'm 100% sure a lot of people who are listening and watching this spent an awful lot of money on, and was it once a quarter the bill from BT came through the post and you decided to head off on your bike up the other end of town while your mum and dad calmed down a little bit.
Digested it, yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, as I say, ask your parents, kids.
Dear me.
In terms of the lineup, Dave, an interesting lineup, an interesting goalkeeper we had for his first, but not his last Ipswich Town appearance. Yes. Australian goalkeeper Andy Petterson was making his debut. He was on loan from Luton due to Clive Baker. He wasn't on loan due to Clive Baker's swollen wrist, but he was in the team due to Clive Baker's swollen wrist. But yeah, he played for us this game, and he actually played for us again on loan from Charlton a couple of years later.
Wow, that would have been. I would not have got that. Yeah, Andy Petterson, yeah, of course. Remember him being part of the squad. I can't remember him playing it. Obviously, he did, but I cannot recall him certainly playing in this game. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good quiz question, that one.
Yeah, but the team itself has it has 9 familiar names from the actually 8 if we include Petterson, from the champion winning season in as you say, in Division 1, doesn't it? Apart from Williams, Youds and Petterson, it's pretty much your core of the team. Yeah,
no, it is. Yeah. Nothing really much to add to that. Eddie Youds was an interesting one. We signed him from Everton reserves, didn't we? And I remember he got injured. I think he did his cruciate, maybe not his cruciate, but bad knee injury. First game, we think, was away at Derby in the season before in our title winning Division 1 winning season. So he only, worked his way back to fitness during the rest of that season, early this season.
He looked a good player, didn't he? But never quite got fit enough for long enough, did he?
No, he didn't. No,
make an impact.
No.
In terms of Forest, get their team up. Some names again there, isn't it? Excuse me. Wow. Kingsley Black.
Great couple of names, isn't it?
Couple of players that we spoke about just now. Gemmell and Wone. Steve Chettle at the back.
Wone was one I think Clough plucked from non-league obscurity. I think a bit like we might talk about someone else in a minute. Gary Birtles, I think. Obviously, he's got his lad Nigel up front. I think it's Lee Glover, is it? Kingsley Black, Steve Chettle, Carl Tyler, Brian Laws, Williams, perhaps. Don't know which Williams that. Well, I'm not sure what Williams that might be. And I think it's Andy Marriott. Is it in goal?
Yes.
Andy Marriott?
Yeah.
And and it's a side that we're already relegated. I think.
Yeah,
Just
they
rock
were.
bottom.
Yeah, they were. So you think Brian Clough, the greatest manager England never had, and unfortunately his last game in charge of Forest would end in relegation.
Yeah, and particularly but pick well, not with much choice to pick, but this game especially as it was the great Clough's, and he was a great, wasn't he? Clough's last game.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about him now, Dave, or talk about it in a
We'll
couple of
talk
minutes'
about him
time.
in a minute if we do. Yeah, if we do that next game. Yeah, in a
Yeah,
minute. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
And as you said about our season, this season in particular, Dave, sort of falling off a cliff, this game, last game of the season, was our second league victory since the end of January, which may prove your point somewhat.
I think
But
I
it was,
think in January we had those 2 wins in a week against Spurs and Man U, didn't we?
yeah, we
That was
did,
it.
didn't we?
Yeah.
Which we've
So
spoken
without
about.
those, would have been gone.
Yeah. But it was a 2-1 victory.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-1 victory. The first goal was initiated, actually, by our friend Eddie Yowes, who we just spoke about, heading the ball upfield. But following on from that, the soon-to-be departed Jason Ozell did well, didn't he?
Oh, it's a great bit of centre forward play. Well, say centre. What it is centre
Yeah.
forward play, isn't it? Basically holds off. I think it might be Laws, and I think it might be Tyler or Chettle, maybe Chettle on the edge of the box. Brilliant. And he was that class player, Jason. He'd always get his head, plays with his head up. They used to compare him to the Trevor Brooking. Always played with his head up. Great awareness and holds it up long enough. Just rolls it in the path of the aforementioned Simon Milton, who absolutely buries one in the corner. Doesn't he? Great strike.
Yeah, drilled, I think we can
Absolute drill.
term that
Yeah.
one. So 1-0 at half time, and not too soon into the second half, it becomes 2-0. Chris Kiwomya is fed into the box by a superlative left-footed pass from the right wing. I just try and check who was playing on the right wing that day.
Yeah, there it is.
Curled into his path, sort of tussled and tumbled with Carl Tyler, didn't he? But the penalty was given. And there weren't many dramas from the subsequent spot kick.
It's a bit. I think you call that a bit of an agricultural challenge in the box, and he just bundles him over, doesn't he? So I don't think the ref has to make too much of a decision there. And he's always good. Dead ball, free. He had a great delivery anyway, didn't he? But penalties, you always fancied him. Your man, Steve Whitten, absolutely buried it in the top left, didn't he?
Yes, he did. 2-0. But then 8 or so, 12, 10 minutes later, the referee, Mike Reed, I think it was, actually looking at the back of his head. I think you recognised him. Maybe even things up a little bit with a handball on Geraint Williams. It's close range, shall we say?
It looks a bit innocuous, doesn't he? Innocuous. The old VAR might have had something to say about that. But yeah, it's it's given, and again a bit like Whitten, Nigel Clough, class player, just rolls it in. But that was it, and quite sad at the end to see, the great Clough, who let's go into too much detail, had some as well documented issues, and just didn't look a well man, didn't he? So that was his, no, not at all, and that was his final league game. Yeah,
and this is the final league table, the inaugural Premier League season. Our prize money, Dave, £230,000, no less.
There we go. Crikey, I mean, how
finishing ahead of the previous season's champions, Leeds United.
Oh God, yeah, of course, yeah, we did.
Yeah. And I mean, they then just got a record of being the lowest finishing position of a reigning champion since ?
Probably Ipswich Town in 1962, was it? I assume.
Yeah, it was.
Norwich had, I know we don't talk about them, but Norwich had an interesting season. As I said, look at that. Look, they finished third. They got a -4 goal difference.
Yeah, crazy. And didn't draw many games. You've mentioned that before. They just didn't draw many.
No, they just won. No. And they were, I think, until they were really up there that season and really challenging until I think United went there and beat them. But I mean, that was I guess that was the first Man United title win, was it? I suppose it was. Yes, it was.
First Premier League season, wasn't it? Apparently, according to the Greenland, it would be an intriguing summer, the weeks ahead. Will Dazelle stay was one of the questions. And also, how will Lyle spend his £1 million or so in the transfer market. Single million that was he had to spend in the transfer market. The answer was he spent it on Paul Mason, Ian Marshall, and Stuart Slater.
Yeah, and you would say certainly two of those, two of those he spent wisely. I would say, if you remember the next season, again we've done that on more than one occasion where absolutely started off. Certainly Marshall started off like a train, didn't he?
Yeah,
but
yeah, he did. Yeah,
yeah, such is life. Yeah, yeah. No, it's just good to do that one as Clough's last game.
Yeah, and so after the break we'll have a little bit more on Clough in probably a slightly more successful period of their
I think history.
So. Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Super. Thank you, Mikey, and others. And also thank you to All About Hearing, Suffolk-based hearing care professionals. Help you out if you have any personal hearing needs. allabouthearing.co.uk. Thanks very much to them. Thanks very much to One Stop Badges, bespoke badges. 10% off, I think, still goes on via the link on our website, Blue Monday, ITFC.co.uk. Dave, we're off to January 1981. Oh my God, we're in your wheelhouse now, aren't we?
You are my wheelhouse, and I think we're just going to have a quick look at this one. I think we spoke about Forest and the demise. Well, there was a demise of Forest. Clough's last game and relegation, and their subsequent seasons later on in the 90s, subsequent 23-year absence. But Clough and his sidekick Peter Taylor. This was basically 10th of January 1981, and coming to the end. That great Forest side kind of sort of starting to break up. But just looking at that Forest side, we really wanted to do just sort of comment on sort of the few players that are still left there from the European Cup. So obviously Shilton was the one. Shilton was a catalyst. So just to put it, as we said right at the very start, Clough joined them as a sort of mid-table in old money Division 3. Oh, God, I hate this. Division 3 side. So League 1 side. But so very much kind of trajectory like us, to be fair. League 1 side. Got them promoted, and again, not really doing much at all. Got them promoted to Division 1 Championship in new money. Got them promoted to the old First Division Premier League, and then the rest is really history. Won the Premier League 77, 78 in that first season back, and then incredibly, just incredible, went on to win 2 European Cups. And for those young hipsters out there, that's when the European Cup, only the league winners qualified for the European Cup. So it was okay. You didn't play so many games like Champions League as such. There was first round, second round, third, fourth, fifth, quarterfinals, semi-finals. But that was the ultimate pinnacle.
Yeah, and you say about them getting promoted, winning the Division 1, which is now the Premier League. They're the only club to have done that, not having been champions of the league below, if you know what I mean. They'd won the top division.
Yeah, they runners up. I think they were.
Yeah, with being runners up the year below rather than...
Just incredible. If you get that, that Forest team up again. You had obviously Shilton, the great Shilton in goal, which was a masterstroke signing. And these were the background. Viv Anderson went on obviously to become a first black player ever to play for England. Kenny Burns, who was an absolute no, thug's not the right word. Just turned him into a culture from a sort of real mad head case of a centre forward at Birmingham City. Turned him to a more than cultured central defender. David Needham, who he subsequently bought. That's Frankie Gray, who came from Leeds, and then kind of this midfield was some of the again throwback the European Cup side. So Martin O'Neill, Lee Bowyer, Ian Bowyer, John McGovern, who went with him in Derby. And the most interesting player is John Robertson. So John Robertson was an overweight, tubby, going nowhere, sort of League Two, let's put it, I'm sorry, League One, as I say, Division 3 sort of midfield player going nowhere, and he converted him to this world. I mean, that's the genius. Just converted him to this world-beating left winger who could basically, I mean, really odd when you watch him play, almost have the ball at his feet, just look at a defender and just go past it. It's just odd, just in a trance. And then up front, you've got this is an interesting one. You've got Peter Ward, who by that time they bought from Brighton, who never really came off for Forest, but he was a replacement for Tony Woodcock, who that season went to Cologne, who we played against. And the great Trevor Francis, who supposedly was the first £1 million player, but it was famously, I think, documented it was £999,999 in typical Clough style sort of thing. So that was just incredible, just an incredible achievement.
You say about £1 million players. There's a player who wasn't in the squad actually, who was £1 million player. That was Ian Wallace that they'd bought.
They bought from Coventry in the away game. Bought from Coventry, Scottish player bought from Coventry in the away game, which we win 2-1, which was the previous November, I think. He scores an unbelievable overhead kick in the away game. So Clough had started to buy. I mean, from the great Forest side, Francis came in. The two front players were Peter With and Tony Woodcock. Peter With had moved on the previous season, maybe two previous seasons, and subsequently Woodcock. But I mean, Francis again was a key signing for them, I guess.
You say about Peter Shilton. This is one of those matches that we've spoken about before, that you can get the highlights on YouTube, quite extensive highlights. Well, second half highlights. You get a quarter of an hour of second half highlights on YouTube. And it starts off with what they tended to do back in the day. Jerry Harrison having a chat with Bobby Robson.
I love that.
Pretty much he must have been in the tunnel before he has a chance. The game's kicking off, and the commentator's still chatting to the manager at half time. And he speaks to him post match as well. Both him and Alan Brazil, actually, a very young looking Alan Brazil, and they both reference Peter Shilton in their post match, saying, we're up against Peter Shilton. He just came with that aura, didn't he? Even before you started playing the match. Oh God, we're up against Peter Shilton today. Yeah,
Forest signed. So he went to Forest from Stoke, starting off at Leicester as Gordon Banks, and I understand. Stoke replaced Gordon Banks at Stoke, I guess, and then Forest signed him. And there was, I have seen it documented that apparently we were close to signing him, but the great Sir Bobby thought that perhaps, I think Shilton went from something like £250,000, £250,000, which, okay, in old money, thought that was too much to spend on a goalkeeper. Clough took the plunge. Clough always rated him, took him, and single-handedly, I think he says him and John Robertson basically won Forest 2 European Cups. The team as a whole, obviously, clubs like that, but he would always
make the difference.
Those two. He was funny goalkeeper, Shilton. Never saw him save a penalty. Never saw him get near a penalty.
You certainly didn't in the World Cup.
He really didn't. But the goals in this game just quickly.
Yeah, talk about the goals. They've got to be good goals to beat Peter Shilton.
We don't even need to put our team up. There's just one change in our team. Gates isn't playing, and Kevin O'Callaghan is playing. Other than that, it's the team from that season. My God, the first goal's a centre forward's dream of a goal, isn't it? I mean, this sums him up, doesn't it? God bless him. I think we're building up. Start the second half, we're starting to build up, and I think we've had if you hear the Robson interview at half time, he basically, coming out for the second half, he basically said, he thinks we've got the better, and the first goal will settle as well. The ball sort of played to Murin on the left, and he sings an absolute perler of a right foot cross. I mean, it's a famous goal he scores with his right foot later on in the season against Forest to the back post. Butcher wins it, and this isn't kind of great from Shilton, is it? To be fair, he could catch this, but to be fair, he punches it. He punches it miles, doesn't he, outside of the box? And then from then on, Walk is first, heads it back in towards Mariner, and then this is just centre forward plays, and he's kind of at an angle on the right side of the box with, I think it's David Needham, quite almost touch tight. He absolutely rolls him, gets it out of his feet, and it is a rifle, isn't it? Rifles it in the top corner. It's an absolute stunner, isn't it? I mean, it's Shilton, isn't it? So it needs to be that kind of shot to beat Shilton, but flipping heck, what a goal that is. And I tell you what, the second goal's a bit tasty as well, isn't it? The second goal. The
Brazil
second goal,
does well, doesn't he?
oh my God, the ball's played up for Brazil. Who actually, you see Brazil heads it on, actually quite low, sort of heads it wide to O'Callaghan, and Brazil's off, sort of run down the right. And great from O'Callaghan, he sort of comes off the line and just, it's reminds me of, it's that Chaplin Burns ball a bit. He sort of comes off the right and sort of bends the ball into his stride. And this is just, this is just quality from Brazil, isn't it? He just sort of, sort of breezes past Burns, I think, gets to the line, and the cross is unstoppable, isn't it? It's low and zipped right across that corridor of uncertainty. And it's just it's not an easy finish, but it's lovely because Murin like slides in and just slides it in. It's absolute quality.
Yeah. A good result. I'll get the table up, actually, the after table, which makes some decent reading for ourselves, because we were due to play. We're 2 games behind Villa, who were top.
Yeah.
Just for people who are listening, we were second in the league, played 24 to Villa's 26. We were only 1 point behind Villa at this point in time. We had Birmingham to play on the Tuesday, which we did, then
5-1.
beat 5-1 correct?
Yeah.
So we were top. And Bobby Robson says in his post-match interview, he says, we'll take some stopping now.
Yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it was squad size and injuries. We just couldn't. We had too much going on. It's well documented. It's the classic, wasn't it? I think we were just in a hell of a run then, and I think that we probably. I don't think so. That was 10th of January. I don't think we got beat till March. We went right through. No, I don't think we did. We went right through the FA Cup games as well. Shrewsbury and oh god, that'd be incredible. Yeah. Brilliant
stuff. Though I'm glad you had a chance to regale us on that era and that Clough team and.
Well, I think so. I think it was certainly worth a mention there. Yeah, I know we've done obviously our team to death in that year, but yeah, it's worth just mentioning for the genius that was Clough and Peter Taylor, of course.
Yeah. For rewind connoisseurs with their tick list, do you want to do the number one in the charts in January 1981?
January 1981. Yeah, I'm assuming it was John Lennon.
He'd just not, but it was. He had 3 songs in the top 5. We don't need to go into the reasons why he had 3 songs in the top 5. Do you want to know who he'd literally just knocked off the number one, the Christmas number one from 1980?
Oh, I should know this, shouldn't I? Oh my God! Christmas number one from 1980. I blanked. Go on, I blanked.
It was St Winifred's School Choir, wasn't it?
Oh, there's no one quite like Grandma. Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
If you ever want two contrasting artists at the top of your league, you'd probably go from St Winifred's School Choir to John Lennon.
Which one? Which was it? Woman that went to number one, or
this was Imagine at the time. But he also had Happy Christmas, War Is Over, and Just Like Starting Over.
Just like, it's not Woman, yeah, Just Like Starting Over.
But Woman was around. I think, was it a B-side of one of them? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah, it was just. Yeah, I mean, it was the news, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, sadly so. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. We've got Bournemouth and Wolves coming up soon, but they maybe don't give us too much Premier League material, so you may have to wait a little while until we chat about Chelsea. Even Chelsea gives us somewhat slim pickings. Well, yeah. In terms of results, possibly, I think we may be scrabbling around a little bit. Well, I'm sure we'll find we may have to do 3 games that show, Dave, just to give us a win or 2. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you for your time, as ever. Thank you for your memories. This has been the Rewind Show on Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. We shall see you next time.